This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, friend. I know how it feels, waking up exhausted after multiple trips to the bathroom and feeling embarrassed by sudden leaks. I used to be constantly on edge, searching for a restroom whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Woman. I was skeptical at first, but 2 months in, everything changed. I experienced improved bladder control, no more heart-stopping moments when I laugh or sneeze, less urge to go, deeper and more restful sleep. I finally felt like myself again, confident and in control. Better Woman is natural, effective, and trusted by women for over 25 years. Ready to take back your control? Head over to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.
Just announced, Farm Aid 40 is coming to Minneapolis. Join. I need you to give me some songs here.
Oh.
Join Willie Nelson.
On the road again.
Neil Young.
Southern man coming.
Dave Matthews.
I don't know what he did, man.
And
I've been a long time since we're rock and roll.
And more, Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium. Celebrate 40 years of music, food, and family farming. Tickets on sale May 16th. You can get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
I've always considered myself, if I don't mind saying so myself, and I don't mind saying so myself, a fairly adept storyteller. Did I not make it clear that the Matt Burke, Mark Rosen, Monday Night Football guy bit was like years ago? I thought I did.
You thought it's sometime in the last 5 years.
Yeah, because one of the emailers said, I just looked for that show and don't see Matt Burke working with you anywhere coming up. No, it was years ago. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. Time for 534 now, here on The Fan.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
Is this breaking news that Tenby and Common have been approved to go to Dublin and London for Vikings football?
No, but that's what we're going to talk about. As you mentioned, the NFL announced today that the Vikings will play in Dublin and London on back-to-back weekends this fall. Minnesota will face the Steelers in Ireland on September 28th and then the Browns in England on October 5th. Former Pioneer Press and current Denver Gazette writer Chris Thomason tweeted, quote, "With all due respect to the Vikings, seems like quite the unfair advantage in the NFC North that they in 2025 will play 8 home games, 7 road games, and 2 neutral site games, while the other 3 division teams will play 8 home games and 9 road games." Common, you agree with Thomason that this is unfair for the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, you could make that case. I think I've talked about. And I know that I was in the vast minority, and I was pressed on it. And I said home court advantage in the NBA playoffs really isn't that big of a deal. I think it helps in all sports. I don't think it's the be-all, end-all. Generally, if one team is better than the other, if the road team is better overall than the home team, they're going to win that game more times than not. That being said, it does seem like it is if you believe in home field advantage because you have the neutral site games. I would call it a distinct advantage. Would you agree?
Distinct with the neutral site?
No, just all together with home games, visiting games, and the neutral site games. Do you think the Vikings have an advantage over the other NFC North teams? Do you agree with that? I
mean, in terms of football, it's the crowd noise, I think, more than anything, right? I don't believe in the sleeping in your own bed and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, crowd noise plays a role in National Football League games. I think Vegas would give it maybe 3 points on the line. But, we also, how is it any different than every year some teams have to go to London and some teams don't, right? That's a disadvantage of the team that has to go to London and has to travel and circadian rhythm and travel time. You got to get out there, your schedule's thrown off because you got to go out there early and practice at different times.
Correct.
Right? So how is that? That's not advantageous to those teams. I think it's just this stuff is all cyclical, and sometimes one year this team might have a slight advantage with the schedule, and the next year the other team might have, right? It's like, I think if you look at the small window of just 1 year, sure, there might be advantages and disadvantages, but it all evens itself out over a longer period of time. And we've never had a team stay over there for 2 weeks. That might be to a disadvantage of the Vikings.
Did you know the Vikings have never lost in Europe?
Makes sense, yeah.
So we're basically
home away from home.
We're going to win 2 games here. Why don't we schedule all of our games there? London, Dublin, Barcelona, Athens, Paris, Geneva. Make that our home away from home.
I would just say to Thomason, when you have quarterback whisper, it doesn't matter where we play, when we play. We'll play anywhere. All right?
I'm hearing you know what I'm hearing? There are a number of national names that are the fashionable pick to win the whole thing is the Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if they get quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 2. And now it's time to go in the paint.
The Boston Celtics lost to the New York Knicks last night, and they may have lost Jason Tatum as well. He suffered a non-contact injury, ended up being shown not being able to put any weight on it as he left the court on that lower body injury. Was later seen in a wheelchair going to the locker room. New York leads that series 3-1. Common are the Celtics, the defending world champions. Are they donezo?
I think they're donezo. I saw it happen live. Have you seen the replay?
I was watching live at the time as well. There wasn't like a great replay.
No, and even the one they showed, it did look non-contact. I think he lost the ball, it was being tipped away from him or another teammate, and he was trying to turn around and go back to get the ball because it was a loose ball in near center court. And all of a sudden he just collapsed. And I've never seen anybody writhe in pain like that on a basketball court. Man, have they said what it is yet?
He's getting an MRI today.
Okay. Because
people are obviously speculating Achilles just because it's non-contact.
Exactly. That's what it looked like, and I hear that's about as painful as it gets. So yeah, he was in agony last night, and I think they were donezo anyways. That game was pretty much New York had it in hand, and up 3-1. Could the Celtics come back and win 3 in a row? I suppose, but without Tatum, I think it's highly unlikely.
Question number 3.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Twins begin a 3-game series in Baltimore tonight, and they enter with an 8-game winning streak. Common, when will that winning streak end?
Who do we have tonight?
Baltimore.
It ain't in the night, I don't think. Baseball, funny game. A terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans and terrible stadiums can have 2 or 3 guys just square up on a baseball and hit home runs, right? The pitcher, they're all big leaguers. Somebody on the Orioles could spin a gem. But they're not very good, and we're on a bit of a roll, and baseball kind of does that. It's a roller coaster of a ride. I don't think. Again, the odds are we're going to lose eventually. We're not going to go lossless the rest of the season, but there's nothing. You hear this out of the locker rooms in all sports or out of the dugouts, and the Twins are talking about how great they feel about where they're at. They knew it would come around, and everybody's. So if you really believe that, and if that kind of momentum helps, it's hard for me to believe that Baltimore is going to put up much resistance, but it's on any given day in baseball. But it's looking good right now. We talked about it yesterday. They're 21-20, yet they're still, 5 games out of first place because the division is deep and talented. And what we talked about is there were a lot of the pull-out pocket protectors that were just doing the old, you don't need to worry, basically, blah, blah, blah. But I still think there was cause for concern early in the season. Because I even think the pull-out pocket protectors were expressing a cause for concern. Seems like some of them just conveniently forgot how much they struggled. But I did agree with this, or did state this. I'd rather be 21-20 having won 8 in a row than being 21-20 having lost 8 in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That you were 21-12 and you were at the top of the division. Like the Twins last year, when they were in first place in the division in late August, early September, whatever it was, or mid-August, and they went into that tailspin. They went into a Jeff Lewis and the Jayhawks, or Gary Lewis and the Jayhawks when they went into a tailspin. But I like the way they're playing. I think they'll handle Baltimore. I have confidence in the kids. I'm a Rube.
Should we fly to Baltimore and go see that game tonight?
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Guardian's going to fly to Dublin, watch the Vikings game, fly back, and he's going to turn around and fly back to London to watch that game against Cleveland. Think about that. He's going to go back and forth to Europe a couple of times. Sort of like the Hawaii thing with Monday Night Football guy.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
This sounds like Gary Lewis and the Jayhawks a little bit. Hey, we'll take a break. We'll come back as we go to break. By the way, the legendary Mark Rosen, just before 2 o'clock, 10B has a bonus bucks keyword.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword green at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is green. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Hey, friend, I know how this feels. Waking up exhausted after multiple trips to the bathroom and feeling embarrassed by sudden leaks. I used to be constantly on edge, searching for a restroom whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Woman. I was skeptical at first, but 2 months in, everything changed. I experienced improved bladder control, no more heart-stopping moments when I laugh or sneeze, less urge to go, deeper and more restful sleep. I finally felt like myself again, confident and in control. Better Woman is natural, effective, clinically tested, and trusted by women for over 25 years. Ready to take back your control? Head over to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
KFAN and Sukup Manufacturing bring you Fan on the Farm. Starting May 19th, 9 to noon, we'll be taking your tractor talkbacks. Each day, one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sukup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get the full details at KFAN.com/farm. Sukup Manufacturing Company, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
Double 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common He's 10 to be. Mark Rosen joins us a wee bit before 2 o'clock. So you brought it up in 5-3-4, Knickerbockers versus the Celtics. Real competitive game. Seemed to be fairly well played. As always, calls that you kind of roll your eyes, you roll your eyes, shrug your shoulder, and shake your head at. But that's okay. It happens in the NBA. It's just the way the game is. You just have to accept it. As a fan and as a player, you just have to accept the fact that they ain't going to get them all. But Nick starting to pull away from the Celts. Celtics getting desperate. It's late in the game. 3 minutes to go, maybe 4 at the most. Not even that when Tatum went out. And as had to be said, everybody speculated it was an Achilles. I mean, he went down in a heap, non-contact injury. It was brutal.
Knicks were kind of pulling away by the time the injury came in.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's my point, is I want to get to, is that I had immediately a couple of people I know text me and said, asterisk. Because I made the point that once Steph Curry went down in game 1 in the first half, that series was over. Without Steph Curry, that team they can't score 100 points. If you can't score 100 points, you can't win. They were going to be offensively challenged. You lose the leader of your team, and he's that good. That series was for it was the Wolves. There was no way they were going to lose that series, and I think my point has been proven. I suppose Golden State could win 3 in a row, and then I'll have to. If Golden State wins 3 in a row, I'll leave town. But it looks as though the Wolves will win, because they're not going to let it go back to Golden State. They
ain't winning 3 in a row without Curry. Correct. I can tell you that.
So they're going to get crushed, and it's going to be 4-1. And I had the audacity, and it's a wet blanket. It's not Wednesday, but I wet blanketed it on Friday and then again on Monday, because I said it on Friday. I said, well, if the Wolves hoist a Western Conference Finals banner and or a NBA Finals banner at the bullseye next year, they need to have an asterisk in the right-hand corner, because they beat a Warriors team that had one hand tied behind his back. And, of course, that annoyed Wolves fans. Yeah, you had to say that. We beat him. It's not our fault he got hurt. Other teams have lost players. What about Randall? Well, Randall was lost during the regular season and came back and is playing very well. And if it was just, what's his name, Loney? If you lose Looney, well, okay, that's not good, but you can overcome losing Looney. You can't overcome losing Steph Curry. So the point last night was, well, you lose Jason Tatum. He's the best player on the Celtics, right? And I mean, they got other good players, but I'd still put him number 1. And he's one of the better players in the league. Well, he's lost as an asterisk now for the Knicks. Well, they were up 2-1, and that game, they were pulling away, as tended to be mentioned at the time. That was going to be a 3-1 lead. And even with Tatum, I just don't think they would be winning 3 games in a row. But if you want to, you could put an asterisk on that. I mean, the concept is the same. I don't think it's exactly the same.
It's not.
But the concept is there that when you lose your best player, you really don't have much of a chance to win. So Boston, I don't think that game was over. They were losing that one. They were going to be down 3-1 no matter what, whether Tatum was still healthy. I don't think Tatum's good enough to lift the team to 3 consecutive games. It's happened. Teams have come back from 3-1 deficits. So it could. So I'll give you that. Without Tatum, it's a much taller mountain to scale.
Yeah.
But
the Knicks have proven they can beat Boston with or without Tatum.
Yes, that's exactly right.
The Wolves haven't yet proven that they can beat the Warriors without Steph Curry, because the one game that he was in for 16 minutes, they were losing and they lost that game.
That's exactly right.
Doesn't mean I still think the Wolves could have won the series.
Sure.
But
they could have, yes, they could have.
But completely different.
Yeah. So, it's kind of an apples and oranges kind of thing. And I think it was I'm not going to go back and search for the quote again. I probably should have highlighted a couple, but I think I even saw Ant had a quote, might have been in the Scoggins piece, where he said, I wish he was playing. I think everybody does. I think teams, especially when you're in a brotherhood like that, you're an association, you're in a league, you all make, that's why when guys are accused of, and I think in many cases have intentionally tried to hurt another player, I just think, to me, that's as low down and dirty as you can be, because you're all part of a union. You work together. You want to win. And I guess you can say you want to win at all costs, but there are certain where you draw a line. You don't intentionally hurt people. It's happened before in football. We know it. And probably it's happened in hockey. We talk about it all the time. Could it be in basketball? I'm sure there's been occasions. That's just, to me, that's uncalled for. You can't. Matter of fact, if they were able to ever prove you intentionally injured someone, you should just be banned from the league for life. You should never be allowed to play again. You can't do that to people, right? So, and some people might think that punishment I'm suggesting is a bit harsh, but so be it. But why was I talking about this? What point was I trying to make? About being injured. Oh, about wanting to play the very best players. I'm sure, again, you don't go, well, we're going to forfeit, or let's wait. Let's put off the games until Steph's ready to come back. You got to continue to play. And I made the ham show Hagler analogy, which I've made many times, and I won't do it again now, but better them than us. So better they lose. I'm sure the Wolves feel if the choice is the Wolves, somebody's got to lose their best player. You lose Ant or they lose Curry. What would you rather do? I'm sure every Wolf guy would say, well, it's a hard choice, but I'll take the lose Curry. But they all want to play against the best. You want to beat the best, and that's what Ant basically said, which I really like. I admire that because, here's one that says, here's a text message. Intentionally hurt people like the Saints in 2009. All those players and coaches made their way back. See, they shouldn't. If their Bountygate was bad. And, I will say the NFL at least went as far as both Sean Payton and wasn't it the defensive coordinator were both suspended for a year. Mm-hmm. So they did lose 1 year. Pretty harsh. I mean, should have been career. It wouldn't have bothered me if it had been there for careers. But at least they did say you're out for a year. You can't put bounties on players, knock this guy out of the game. It's just the most. It's heinous, is what it is. It's just I don't even know how people can even consider doing that, but that's what happens. Here's what somebody else said. He goes, also the point you're trying to make is Tatum basically played 4 full games in this series. Steph played about a third of one game. Very different asterisks, and they are. That is the thing. They are very different asterisks. But, that's water under the bridge. The Wolves will have a tall task, whomever they meet in the NBA or in the Western Conference Finals, whether it's Denver or OKC. And I think I don't put a lot of stock into, because haven't we beat Denver like 5-6 times in a row now?
We've done very well against them,
every game this year. Last year. And I'm not dismissing that entirely, but I don't think that I go, well, I'd much rather see Denver than OKC. I think they're both formidable foes.
OKC has more depth.
Yeah.
Denver has the best player on the planet.
Yeah.
And we don't have Big Meow to guard him anymore.
No.
Last year in that playoff series, he was the most successful against him.
That's correct. The SGA is awfully good, to say the least. So let's pause and return. We've got some controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break, and then Mark Rosen joins us right here on The Fan.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
going to be of all the acquisitions, all the baubles, B-A-U-B-L-E-S. Have you heard the word before? Baubles?
Baubles?
Yeah, B-A-U-B-L-E-S.
Like a bobblehead?
Yeah. Baubles, I think, are like prizes or wealth. Could you look up the word in B-A-U-B-L-E-S? Of all the baubles billionaires can purchase. Let's see if I've got the word correct. Baubles. B-A-U-B-L-E-S.
Looks like it's just singular.
Oh, is it?
Bauble.
But you can have more than one bauble.
A showy, usually cheap ornament, trinket, guga.
Oh, so it's cheap. It's the opposite. I had the wrong definition. I thought it was something that really was worth something, but it's saying like costume jewelry.
Bauble.
All right. Well, I was close. I thought it was worth something. They say it's worth nothing, so maybe I wasn't close. But of all the things that a billionaire can buy, they can buy, like Elmer J. Fudd, I own a mansion and a yacht. They can buy mansions. They can buy yachts. They can buy private jets. They can buy artwork. They can buy pretty much whatever they want. Pro sports teams are something that I think a lot of, not all, but many billionaires covet. That's what they'd like to own. They don't come up for sale very often, right? How often does a pro football team come up for sale? Major League Baseball team, hockey, basketball, once every couple of years at most, right? There's now a basketball team available, it was announced today. Paul Allen's estate announced that it has begun the process of selling the Portland Trailblazers. The sale of the team is, quote, consistent with Allen's directive to eventually sell his sports holdings and direct all estate proceedings to philanthropy. This is according to a statement released by the Trailblazers today. Allen was the co-founder of Microsoft. He died in 2018 at age 65 from complications of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Since his death, his sister has served as the chair of the Trailblazers and the NFL's Seattle Seahawks and a trustee of the Paul G. Allen Trust. There's nothing in the story that I see that has an asking price yet. The Wolves just sold for, but that was on the cheap, right? That was part of the problem. Was
they sold for 1.5, and then the value's already at like 3.
Yeah, and that was part of the reason why Glenn said, and he said it was, and I tend to believe when he says, I'm sure he liked the extra money for himself, but he was more concerned about his limiteds. His limiteds, the people that 1% or 2%. When you can double the value of what you get for the team, double the amount of money, that's a lot of money for the limiteds. But I also think it was because he thought, wow, this is finally starting to pay off. After all these years, I got a chance to win the whole thing. And now, this year he's still owner until the season's over, so he'd still feel like it's his club that won an NBA championship.
According to Forbes, and this was as of October 2024,
Okay.
The Trailblazers are valued at $3.5 billion. And they paid $70 million for it in 1988.
Wow. The New York, I think like there are soccer teams in like England or South America that are worth more than any North American Major League sport. I could be wrong there. That's what I thought I saw once. Are the Yankees or the Cowboys still, are those the two teams worth the very most? My guess is it would be the New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys would be the two franchises worth that have the most value. So I think 3.5 sounds like a nice deal for the Portland Trailblazers if you got that kind of money.
Cowboys number 1 at $10.1 billion.
Yeah, $10.1 billion.
Warriors shows you how much that Steph Curry pick. Because you remember how bad the Golden State Warriors were before Steph Curry came along?
Yeah, remember Dark Star's favorite team was Golden State before they
were terrible.
They became good. He loved them. Yeah.
$8.8 billion at second.
Seriously.
Just think about what, Steph Curry's done for that franchise. We didn't need him.
No.
Rams are third at $7.6 billion. Then you got the Yankees at $7.55, right. Knicks at $7.5, Patriots $7.4, Giants $7.3, Lakers $7.1.
Yeah, a lot of those big city teams are worth the big bucks.
I think the first non-American team is Real Madrid, is 13th at $6.6 billion.
So these American teams are worth more than any soccer teams, then, I guess. For some reason, like Tottenham, is it called Tottenham or something? I thought one of those was worth more money.
You got Manchester United.
Yeah, that's what I was
FC Barcelona.
What are they worth?
Liverpool. Manchester United is 14th at 6.55.
Okay, yeah.
FC Barcelona is 20th at 5.6. Liverpool is 27th at 5.37. Manchester City, 32nd at 5.1. Your Minnesota Vikings, 33rd, $5.05 billion.
What'd the Wills buy for? Do we even remember?
In the 100 millions, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't recall. Yeah, that's probably right. That's a nice, what is it called? ROI, return on investment?
Yeah, they paid $600 million for it.
Wow. Maybe Glenn can buy the Trailblazers if he still wants to own a basketball team. I wonder if A-Rod and Laurie wish they would have waited. Probably not the way this team's going right now. This team seems to be, well, they're certainly headed to the Western Conference Finals. After that, all bets are off, right? You know what I'm going to say, Tenevie? I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I think it's going to be the Wolves and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and you're on your own.
Oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
Allen stipulated in his will eventual sale of both teams with the proceeds given to philanthropic endeavors. So just giving it to charity, to a registered charity. All I need is a crime today. So, yeah. So if you're in the market for a basketball team, there is now one on the market.
If he wants to give it to me for charity,
right,
I'll accept it.
There's now one on the market for $3.5 billion.
I do wonder. In Portland, that's all they have, right, from a professional, other than maybe like a soccer team.
Well, if you want to call them a professional team, they haven't played like one lately. But yeah, they would be their only.
I do wonder if they're concerned about an ownership change.
Oh, I bet.
Because, one, I don't know how many potential owners there are in a market like Portland that's not as big of a market.
Yeah, local guy, right?
Right. And if you're not a local guy, you're going to, we get it all the time here in Minnesota, and we should be pretty secure with ourselves at this point. What are the odds of someone coming in, buying the team, and going, all right, we're moving to Las Vegas? Or, what else is available out there?
The comeback to that is always that the ownership would rather do an expansion franchise because somebody has to pay a really large fee to get a club, and the rest of the owners split that money up. Or
Seattle.
But they all have each other's back in that, well, if you don't get your stadium you want or fan attendance declines, then guess what? All for one and one for all, we're going to let you move the team. If they're not going to support you, you go ahead, move it, because they would all want to have that same option available to them. So they kind of got you coming and going, really. PGA Championship tend to be coming up this weekend. There's one player. It took 25 years for someone to achieve the career Grand Slam. There's 6 players that have it now. Last we checked, Rory McIlroy was the latest. He won the green jacket back in April, and he now has a career Grand Slam. Jordan Spieth is only missing the PGA Championship. And he's been searching, he's been waiting for he's been waiting for PGA Championship ever since he started playing as a pro, but since having the other 3, it's been 2017, I think, 2016 or 2017 was the first time he had an opportunity with the PGA Championship to get, because in 2016, he won one of the other majors, his third of the 4. So it's been since 2017 since he's been trying. But he doesn't get as much, you don't hear that as the major storyline, probably because he just hasn't played very well the last few years, right? He's certainly not the Jordan Spieth because if I'm not mistaken, maybe you could look up his career wins because didn't he win most of those in pretty short order? I don't think they were all spread out. I think he won his majors all within
right away,
2, 3,
at a young age,
4 year period. Yeah. And so they haven't talked about that, but he has an opportunity to get to the career Grand Slam. There are a number of other players.
Yeah, he won the Masters 2015, U.S. Open 2015, and then the Open in 2017.
Okay, so yeah, within a 2-year period, he won all of those. And that was still when the PGA Championship was played after the Open Championship, so that he had a chance to get it that year. Phil Mickelson also has 3. He's missing the U.S. Open. I kind of think his time's run out. I mean, stranger things have happened. Remember when Tommy Watson at 59 and a half years old had a 12-foot putt on the 72nd hole at the Open Championship? And if he had made it, he would have won a major at just shy of 60 years old. So you can be, because Mickelson's got to be what, 51, 52, 53? So it can be done. I guess you say we don't know if it can be done because it wasn't done because
he's 54.
54. So I think his time may be past. He'd have to win a U.S. Open. There are several other players that are too short. But they're all good players. So if they were to win, like for instance, if John Rahm wins the PGA or the British Open, he'll be 1 away from a career Grand Slam. Schauffele or Colin Morikawa win the U.S. Open, they will be 1 other major from getting the Slam. Dustin Johnson at the PGA Championship or British Open, and Brooks Koepka would have to win the British to get to that point where they would have career Grand Slams. So I don't know.
How many majors has Koepka won?
5.
They just 5 in 2 tournaments?
Yeah, I think it seems like that. Maybe I have that wrong. Maybe I did my math wrong. I don't think Koepka can win 1 more and then have the Grand. Maybe he can, though, because he doesn't have a green jacket. I know that.
Yeah, he's won the PGA Championship 3 times and the U.S. Open twice.
Yes, yeah. So he needs the British and the Masters. So, and as long as it took McIlroy as good as he is, winning 2 more to get the Grand Slam just seems like it's not really likely, but you don't know. I'll be watching for it, that's for sure. Oh, where does hockey stand now? I've lost track. Does it matter much anymore? Am I going to lose my bet to you?
A couple teams. Well, that series is still 2-1, so you're still in that one. Though the Stars are supposed to get back their stud defenseman Miro Heiskanen tonight. He hasn't been playing all playoffs, so that'll be potentially a big boost for Dallas to get him back in the lineup. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers shut out Vegas last night, so they now lead that series 3-1. And Carolina has been taking it to Washington. They won last night as well, so they're up 3-1. And then you have tonight, Winnipeg-Dallas. That will be a Game 4. Stars lead that series 2-1. And Florida-Toronto. Toronto won the first 2 games. Now Florida won both of theirs at home, so that series tied at 2. So they got a Game 5 tomorrow night.
Hating the Dallas Stars as much as you did, if that game went to 3-3, if that series went to 3-3, would you... Oh, he's on the phone now. I thought maybe he'd fly out to... Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Dallas were to go to 3-3 in that series, would you fly to Game 7 because of your hatred for Dallas, wanting to see them lose badly?
It's actually one of Samson's favorite teams. He has a Dallas Stars jersey. He's always wanted to go to a game in Dallas. So I might actually fly, probably not in the playoffs, but I might fly him down there sometime to go watch a game.
What is it about Dallas that intrigues your son?
I don't know. He likes the Stars and the Red Wings. Leo likes the Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights. Random. Did you
brainwash them into liking hockey, or did you offer them everything, or because like my boys wanted nothing to do with golf. They want, that's my sport. They wanted, one wanted to play basketball, the other wanted to play soccer, and then Deuce changed over to cross country and track. Now, baby brother, well, I shouldn't say baby brother Peter loves golf. He has a love-hate relationship with it. He was awful today.
Oh, no.
And he was so bitter. Try not to be, but it It's those growing pains. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
You hit 2 or 3 really good shots.
It's not a steady incline.
No. Or you have a nice range session and you think, I'm starting to figure it out. Then you go out to the golf course and you can't do anything, and it just becomes. So he's at the frustration level, which I told him will last for 25 years. You're always going to be frustrated.
You'll be frustrated for 24 hours and you're like, man, I really want to get back on the golf course tomorrow. You want to figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, and you think you're going to fix it.
Then you fix it, but then you have something else is going wrong.
Well, as you're driving away from the course after a bad round, you're thinking, I'm never going to be any good at this game. I hate it. Then a couple hours go by and you go, if I just, I think maybe what I wasn't doing is, what I think? I didn't have my elbow tucked in enough. Yeah, that's what it was. If I do that.
I just got to go talk to Master Pro.
Yeah, I think I can get this thing fixed by tomorrow, and then it's bad again, and you keep telling yourself that. But did your boys glom on to hockey, right? Or because Dad played hockey, they loved it? Or
well, you used the word brainwash earlier. I would not say I brainwashed them, but I definitely exposed them to it.
Right.
But even Leo, he started playing hockey later than most of the kids his age just because he did not show an interest. We had him in the park and rec skating lessons once a week, and he showed zero interest in it.
Right.
So I was not going to put him in it until he showed interest.
Sure, yeah, right.
Now that he's playing, he likes it.
Yeah.
But they're not just one sport.
Right.
Hey, I'm just hockey's all I want to do. I think Samson's a little more into hockey than Leo is. But Leo really likes baseball. And Samson does at this age like golf.
Okay.
Leo hates it.
Leo's smart kid.
And then I have now brought Ingrid, at least I brought her on a round at a par 3 course, and she sat in the cart with us and then would just putt, and she got through it.
She like it?
She seemed to like it, yeah. She didn't have a meltdown, which, the other 2 kids didn't when they were that age, so.
I think what you're really excited about is they don't like basketball because you hate the sound of squeaking sneakers on a hardwood floor. That's what you told me. You hate it.
Oh, it's the worst sound in all sports.
And you know what?
It is.
I used to never think about it until you told me about it. Then I think about it. You ruined basketball for me in person.
Is there a worse sound in sports than the squeaky shoes?
I don't think it's. But now I just, it's just I can't help but not notice it now.
Well, then, and basketball's the worst too because typically you're in a gym with 2 other games going on just behind a curtain.
And it's constant, yeah.
And so you can hear the squeaks over there. You can also hear their whistles, which you have to know what was that whistle for my game or was that whistle for their game.
I'm glad you brought that up because to this day, I don't know how the kids playing on the floor can differentiate because they never stop. I guess you're probably told, don't stop when you hear a whistle until you know it's your whistle. Because I've thought the same thing. I've heard a whistle from another court and I thought it was on our court. How do you know?
I can tell you for Squirt Bee hockey,
yep.
When we were in the district playoffs, there was another team that twice made some sort of whistling sound from the crowd when we had scoring chances. That is embarrassing. 10-year-olds out here and we're creating fake whistle noises in the crowd.
We could right now take calls, talkbacks, and text messages from now until we leave for Dublin.
We sure could.
When you and I are going to Dublin. And then we're going to London because I think that's been approved now by the radio station. Stories of people of parents that just they're out of control. It means so much to them. It actually means more to them. Well, I just saw a video. Somebody sent me a video. I showed it to baby brother Peter. There was an AAU game, I think it was in Eden Prairie, where they had to just shut down the whole tournament because there were fights breaking out in the crowds. AAU basketball. Parents fighting with other people in the crowd about AAU. It's basketball.
What are you fighting over?
They probably
they disagree with the foul call.
Disagree with calls. Yeah. Trash talking parents. Trash talking players. I think that's what it's all about. I loved that baby brother Peter played basketball and I enjoyed it. I liked going to all the tournaments and going to the games and the different venues and get to know the other families and the other players and such like that. But there was a seedy side to it, man. There was the part where there are some people that are too into it. And even at that level of just AAU, there's money involved. And
the money's gotten so huge at the higher levels now that it just trickles down to everything.
Correct. And then, parents thinking that their kid's the best kid, and this AAU team is basically set up for him to develop him so he can get noticed and get a Division I
And if he doesn't
offer.
develop, it's a coach's fault.
Right. And then, he's not getting Division I offers. It's a coach's fault. We're not getting enough exposure. You're not, the team should be built around him. There are parents that believe it. I witnessed it. I saw it happen. And you just kind of go, wow, really? And
they think because they've invested so much money
and time
in
and
some
effort,
of that training for their kids that their kids should be superstars. And then because they're not, it's somebody else's fault.
That's exactly right. Or their kid's underrated. You don't understand. You're not watching them. And it's just, but I still enjoyed all of it. I did. I love it. I loved going to games all the time, man. It was great competition. And it was a good time, but it can get where, as everybody knows that you follow it, it gets, sometimes it's beyond the pale, really. I've been waiting for this moment all of my life. Well, actually, just the last 10 minutes. Waiting for Mark Rosen, who will join us next here in Studio A on the Common Man program here on a Tank It Tuesday here on the Fan.
Hey, friend. I know how it feels, waking up exhausted after multiple trips to the bathroom and feeling embarrassed by sudden leaks. I used to be constantly on edge, searching for a restroom whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Woman. I was skeptical at first, but 2 months in, everything changed. I experienced improved bladder control. No more heart-stopping moments when I laugh or sneeze, less urge to go, deeper and more restful sleep. I finally felt like myself again, confident and in control. Better Woman is natural, effective, and trusted by women for over 25 years. Ready to take back your control? Head over to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.